Hi, I'm James from Star Sailor. You're watching 24hourspodcast.com.
T minus 4, 3, 2, 1.
Following is a 24 hours podcast.
Star Sailor is the band. On the outside is the album, and a solid record indeed. Welcome back to Vancouver, James. What are your impressions of Canada from your past experiences?
It's a great place. Definitely a marked difference from the United States, even though they're both sort of classed as North America. I think there's a huge kind of Anglophile influence over here. The guitarist was saying it reminds him a lot of Australia. I think that's probably an accurate description.
Now, do Canadians remind you a little bit more of your native Brits?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and Canada was kind of the first place since we sort of crossed the water that kind of really grasped the band and got into the band. Obviously we did a big tour with the Charlatans, and I remember the gig in Vancouver pretty fondly.
Let's talk about your involvement with Star Sailor. Now, it wasn't called Star Sailor when you joined, and you of course had a choir background. So how did you get, how did it all hook up for you?
I was in college with the rest of the band, and I was singing in church. It was like an end of year concert held at the local church, and yeah, that was the first that the rest of the band had heard of me, and they kind of they basically split up the band that I was in at the time. As the bass player, Stel, he seemed pretty determined that we were going to get a band together, and he joined the band initially, then said the drummer's not good enough, I know someone who's better, and Ben got in. Then the guitarist left, and it was the three of us for a while, and a wide array of guitarists kind of came and went before we settled with Barry on keyboards. Realised that was the answer.
Now, was rock and roll something that was in your blood for a long time? Because I understand you used to be a busker doing Oasis tunes.
I did it a couple of times around Christmas, but it's pretty tough doing that. I think my main sort of education in that respect was I used to wash dishes at an Italian restaurant, and every Tuesday night they'd have somebody who'd entertain with an acoustic guitar and like a backing track thing, really cheesy. And every so often, if I finished my shift in time, they'd let me up to do a couple of songs for beer, basically, and so that was kind of the start of it all, really.
Now, can we get on the subject of speaking of Oasis, were they actually kind of talking trash about you?
Yeah, a little bit. It was just Noel, really, kind of shouting off at the mouth or whatever, and we managed to resolve our differences at Glastonbury the last time we played there. Liam was in the dressing room singing away the latest songs from the current Oasis album, actually, which was pretty cool.
Are you surprised by the extent of the impact that your band has had? I mean, you've become quite a big deal, and I mean, you're now on your third album.
Yeah.
Is it sort of all planned out to think that you would, have this kind of impact, or you kind of sit down sometimes and go, "Wow, this is beyond my wildest dream"?
It's amazing. I think it's like you can't really judge commercial success or impact as a reasonable measure, because there's a lot of bands out there who are amazingly talented who don't sell any records, and so I think we're just fortunate that we're able to combine the two, that a lot of people have a lot of respect for us, and also our albums are in the shops and doing okay generally.
On the outside, it's a solid album. What might you be looking at for album 4, and any idea of time frame as when you're going to start recording that?
Yeah, we've already started writing songs for it. I think it seems to have a sort of brighter tone and lyrically, and quite uplifting compared, because the last album was pretty, on the outside's pretty serious, pretty hard hitting, and a couple of the songs that we've written for this one are almost country in vein, more Graham Parsons and Ryan Adams than George Jones, but still that little touch. And been listening to a lot of soul records. Yeah, just getting back to simplistic.
So what you listen to will influence the sound that the next album will take.
Oh, definitely. There's kind of a delay, like stuff that I've been listening to 6 months previous will start to manifest itself in the music rather than listening to a CD and trying to rip it off, kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's always the way that I've written, is to have pictures, photographs of my heroes all around the room where I'm writing, and listening to records and saying, right, that's what we've got to beat, basically, or at least live up to. And obviously you're walking that tightrope between trying to live up to that but without copying it or too much.
When you're on the road as much as you are, you're away from your family. When's the next time you're going to see your folks or your family, your kin? You got a kid?
Yeah. The next time I'm going to see them is on the 4th of October. So I'm really looking forward to it. My wife and daughter came out earlier on in the tour, and I always try and get them out if we're out for 5 or 6 weeks, just to split it up, so there's like a bit of family time as well as all the madness that goes on when it's just the boys. Like.
Are you loving being a dad?
Oh, it's great, yeah, really good. I think she's getting to that age now where she's a proper daddy's girl, and it's really good.
You're not gonna let her hang out with rock stars later on, are you?
It depends. I'd ask her for a CD if she's if it's like heavy metal or banging house music, then he's out the door. But if the music's any good, then I'll let her carry on.
Finally, James, you managed to stay in touch with your beloved English football, watching satellite TV. Why are you not a Man U fan?
I don't know. I guess it's just my family and my upbringing. My brother was a big Liverpool fan, and actually where I'm from in Lancashire, the two cities aren't too far away. They're both about an hour away, so it was one or the other.
Finally, Coronation Street or EastEnders fan?
Coronation Street.
Well done.
Definitely.
Great talking. The best of luck on the tour, and come back again.
Cheers.
Thank you.
24hours.ca